Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. I want to say thank you very much to the honourable member for her question and for the support that she provides to veterans in her local community. Mr Speaker, we know that our nation is facing the most complex and potentially catastrophic regional security environment since the Second World War. The threat now posed by the Chinese government aggression is very real, and, Mr Speaker, it's growing. We've seen an unholy alliance between the Chinese government and the Russian government with President Putin, and both countries have been very open about that relationship, and that should, I think, cause great concern right across the world, but in particular in our own region, Mr Speaker. And we have worked very closely together with partners. We have an incredible alliance through our Five Eyes with our AUKUS partners. We are meeting, and Minister Payne's in Melbourne this afternoon to meet with her counterparts in the Foreign Ministers' Quad. That is a coming together of like-mindeds, and there are many countries in Europe and elsewhere across North America and around the world who are worried about what is happening in the Indo-Pacific, Mr Speaker. And so this government has invested more into our defences and to keep our country safe into the future. We did that off an incredibly low base because Labor, when they were last in government, cut funding to defence to the bone. That's the reality, Mr Speaker. They want to pretend now that somehow there's no difference between the two parties when it comes to defending our nation in the next decade and the decade beyond. Nothing could be further from the truth, Mr Speaker. If anybody has been less prepared to put themselves forward as a potential Prime Minister of this country when it comes to the issue of national security, I'm not aware of anyone less prepared, maybe apart from Mark Latham, than this man, Mr Speaker.
Will leave under 94. No, I'm sorry, not member for Brand. The member for Patterson will leave under 94A.
And Mr Speaker, we now see evidence, Mr Speaker, that the Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese government, has also made a decision about who they're going to back in the next federal election, Mr Speaker. Now, that's open. That is obvious, Mr Speaker.
The Leader of the House,
they have picked this bloke as their candidate, Mr Speaker.
The Leader of the House will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition on a point of order.
Thanks very much, Mr Speaker. I draw your attention to pages 516 and 517 of practice. This House has had various precedents with respect to unparliamentary language, but anything that goes to whether or not people are in fact guilty of treason, sedition or anything against the national security of this nation has been dealt with by speakers in the strictest terms. Now, the Leader of the House, who, given that he's the Leader of the House, is meant to know this better than anyone on that side, eyes wide open, is going right there. He's made that clear, and when you asked him to sit down, he kept going.
The Leader of the House. I just want you to address the point.
Well, on the point of order, Mr Speaker, and with reference to the practice that was referred to by the honourable member opposite, there was no such allegation made against the Leader of the Opposition. Mine was a reflection on what has been publicly reported and commented on by the Director-General of ASIO. And, Mr Speaker, there are media reports today, Mr Speaker, in relation to these serious matters. I have not made, Mr Speaker,
the member for Jellybrand.
I have not made any allegations against the Leader of the Opposition, which is the way in which it was framed by the Manager of Opposition Business. Mine is a reflection on the Chinese government, the actions of the Chinese government, Mr Speaker, and that is the context in which I made the comment, and it is perfectly in order. It might be uncomfortable for those opposite, but it is perfectly in order.